Okay, I will continue in English because it's important. If you don't understand, as usual, yeah, you will ask me a question in some questions in Russian, yes? Why did I show you his video? Because I won't tell like him, of course, because this is his direction. He's the founder of the School of Existential Analysis, and he was a direct pupil of Viktor Frankl. He told these things himself. And we do collaboration with Alfred Langley. I know him personally. He has been here in Kyrgyzstan, but not as a psychotherapist or as teacher. He was here as a tourist, so that is why it was really funny. He visited our country as a tourist. But we didn't meet with him here personally. Now he is the most known in Europe with his school in Vienna that is called Existential Analysis. So if you want to study this approach, you can go directly to Vienna Institute. They also have a huge school in Russia, in Moscow, but my personal opinion, it's a little bit different than what he does himself, so I prefer to collaborate with him personally. When he offered us to do some collaboration with these people from Moscow, so to be honest, I decided not to. So remember, I told you many times, if you want to have a look on a really kind of pure or clear school, it's better to find a person who was like him. Yeah, he is a founder of this school. And he is a direct pupil, for example, of Viktor Frankl. So it's easy to find such people now who has some legacy from these people who were founder of these huge directions in psychotherapy. Yeah, okay, is it clear with this part? And as I told you before, so in this course of psychology of personality, usually people consider many theories from a psychoanalytic perspective. You remember last lesson we were considering all these theories, Horny, who else we did consider, I forgot, Sullivan, Fromm. Horny, we didn't consider Horny, by the way. But anyway, this psychodynamic approach, and maybe you remember there are kind of additional details, for example, comparing to Jung or Freud or to Adler, but anyway, the idea is very similar. Here, if you paid attention on how he was telling in this video, it is really different way of understanding a human being. And if you paid attention, he didn't tell personality, no, and he was telling about human being. So today I will try you to switch, to tone, or how to say, to show you another angle, yeah, of this understanding of human's nature. If you remember our first lessons when we met, I asked you to write down what do you think about human's nature. Do you remember your answers? So now you can kind of rely on these answers, and maybe you see some similar with this approach if you didn't find something with a psychodynamic approach, because it's like how you understand personality or human being, the same way you understand yourself, and the same way if you will be practitioner, you will be do psychotherapy. I told you about these things many times. Okay, he was born in Vienna, and as you can understand by his surname, maybe you can understand, yeah, he was Jewish. And I told you many times that it was some problems with, it's not like problems, yeah, it was some kind of special relationship, yeah, to Jewish during 20th century. You remember, yeah, 2 world wars, and Freud, for example, had to leave Vienna and went to London before he died, because it was really close time to Second World War II. With Viktor Frankl, kind of happened a really unpleasant story. He was a doctor, actually. He was a psychiatrist. And he lived in Vienna, but he was not a pupil, no Freud, no Adler, but he was really a known doctor there. He was a prisoner in a concentration camp. And that is why when he got there, it's actually the name of the therapy he created, the name of this therapy is logotherapy. you have heard, yeah, Dr. Langley told that logo, that means meaning, yeah, in Latin. So he was a founder of this logotherapy, but he didn't how to say, he didn't describe this method before he was in this camp. So when he was there, he had to find actually something to survive. And maybe you know the stories, yeah, about these concentration camps. So you can imagine. I won't be telling you all this terrible stories. You know, yeah, there's the idea, and it's really a difficult time. And for example, people who were there, of course, they were understanding that they will die anyway. And if you in such situations, so can you imagine? Can you just in your imagination put yourself in position when you die? Just do it. It's like an experiment. So can you put yourself to such situation? Or it's difficult for you?
I feel despair. Fear?
Yeah, despair, of course. Fear, despair, what else? Okay, but if you can't imagine, I mean, maybe you have heard this story. So if, for example, now we are telling these words, of course, people, they feel desperate, they feel anxious, fears, and many other negative emotions. And many of them died, you know this, yeah, that many of them died literally in this situation, these camps, during World War and all these things. He was actually a prisoner in this camp, and because he was a doctor, of course, he was considering, so he was trying to help himself. And I won't tell you the whole story how he was creating this logotherapy, but if you really want, you can read this book, Human in Search for Meaning. Human in Search for Meaning, something like that. I'm not sure that is direct translation. It is really famous, and it's really a good book. So you can read it and you feel your life is, I don't want to say it with more meaning, but with different point of view or perspective. So you will see different things that you didn't see before. Now, for example, even according to your age, you don't have to see many things, but according to your future profession, in that sense, you are much more responsible. So in that sense, that is why we tell all this, the theory of personalities and all this personality and these things that we have in psychology, because you are more responsible for understanding of human being and of nature and of psychic, because you study psychology. So that's a thing. And continue about Frankl. So when he was there not to die, he was trying to find something that will help him to survive. And he find this thing, he find what's that? It's easy to guess. What the thing that helped him to survive? What he find there? No. What helped him to survive, not to be dead in this situation, because most of these people who were there, they all committed suicide, or they were burnt, or they were shot, and all this, so all of them dead. And he didn't get crazy, and he was not desperate. He survived, and after he found the whole direction. He described this logotherapy. He found the meaning why he was living there. Because he was seeing this suffering, and he was thinking, when I leave this place, I will tell people what I found. This is main idea of logotherapy. For example, if you are suffering, you have to find the meaning for this suffering, because if you are concentrated on this suffering, you will be suffering more. And in psychoanalysis, we have a different perspective. Yeah, you remember this, since everything is determined by instincts, biological things, all these different parts of personality. Like, for example, we were considering last lesson, yeah, me, not me, bad me, good me, sorry, yeah, these things. But here it's a different perspective. So the main kind of things that he was describing in logotherapy is like main assumptions. It's three, yeah, main position, how to say, of logotherapy, or how he was understanding a human being. If you understand that you will die, and that your life is not kind of eternal, you will do more in your life. So these things usually works in psychotherapy procedure. For example, if I have patient and this patient, for example, attending, I don't know, 2 or 3 years sessions. So can you imagine? And he, for example, doesn't do anything, just attending the sessions. Okay, he has money to pay for it, and he pays, and he can go to these sessions forever. Yeah. But if, for example, ask such a person and somehow to put him in the position of ending, even ending of the process of therapy, or ending the life, he will understand more. Do you understand, or you didn't get? You begin to live, not you really, and feel your life. You feel alive. It's not like I just automatically do something and oh, anyway I will die. And when we understand that part of our life, that anyway we will die, you will bring more meaning or more sense in everyday life. So this is part of his idea of understanding of human being, of humans, and part of this logotherapy, how it is working actually with patients. I will tell you how it works. If even we have the subject that name is psychology of personality, I will tell you about understanding of human being and personality from Frankl's point of view. But anyway, I also want to do some kind of accent on the method. I mean, on psychotherapeutic procedure. I think it also can be useful for you if you are going to do some practical work. Okay, you understand? Yeah. First one. What? First, I told. Nobody is spared of suffering. So all of us will suffer. Second, life is kind of have the end. We are mortal. Yeah, and you should guess. Maybe you can guess. I'm not sure. The third one. Yeah, it's like how to say the meaning. Yeah, this is the main idea of his understanding of human beings. That's true. We have this will to meaning. This since it's like in our nature. So we are born in this world, and all of us have this will to find meaning. It's part of his understanding of human being. But not the third one, not about this meaning. Yeah, it's everywhere. So suffering, death, and it's easier. It's just if you understand, it's a little bit different idea. Yeah, it's not like in psychoanalysis. Remember, in psychoanalysis. For example, now, if you can remember, in psychoanalysis, it's really easy to understand, and it's really easy to explain. Yeah, here you have to look at different point of view and different field, different targets. I don't know. Suffering. Nobody is spared of a feeling of guilt. And this is thought as a main assumption. Who understood? Can you explain what does it mean? Nobody is spared of this feeling of guilt. What does it mean? How do you understand this?
Чувство вины за упущенные возможности, за какие-то действия, потому что мы в любом случае совершаем плохие действия,
So
Ничего нельзя.
all of us, we have this feeling of guilt. I mean, there is no any one person who doesn't have this feeling. So in that sense, it's like ontological. So it's like all our human being, we are kind of born in this world and we can feel this guilt. So it's not even actual guilt. You have to understand. So he is not telling about that all of us, we kind of do bad actions and that is why we kind of feel guilty. No, he was telling about feeling of guilt, understand? Because I am a person, I am a human being. That is why I can feel myself guilty for what I didn't do, or what I did, or what I didn't say, or what I said, who I become, or whom I didn't become. Understand? And in that sense, it's in human's nature. And that's how he was describing this idea. And if you understand this idea, and for example, if a patient comes to you, it gives you a definite angle of how to work with him, yeah? So if for all of us, we have these sufferings in our life, yeah? All of us, we have this feeling of guilt, but we don't have to say to this feeling always yes, because if you tell to this feeling always yes, it may have some consequences. So usually I have such things in psychotherapy with my patients who suffer from depression. So it's when they're suffering are too strong, they can't have a deal with this reality anymore, and their feeling of guilt is increasing and increasing, and they don't live their lives anymore. Understand? Yeah, these things. And do you understand? And that is why when he was inventing this method, he was paying attention on these things, and he was telling that in each situation, in our life, we are able to find this meaning. We are able to find what for we live. What for do we live? Even now, when, for example, I was asking you just do these things in your imagination that you will die in 1 month, and immediately, you find these answers, and these answers, they showed you the most important things in your life. But maybe even for this month, you can find some meaning what for to live this month. What you will be doing. Understand? So the same thing he did in this concentration camp. Did you get this idea?
Ситуация, которую он описывает, она действительно похожа с концентрационным лагерем, потому что времени мало, скоро ты умрешь, и вот тогда-то и многие начинают чувствовать вину за какие-то...
But if to, for example, consider just not a person who in this concentration camp, but if to look at the person like I am, like you are, how you can apply these things to a normal person? How it may help? What does it show? You're a psychologist, what does it show?
What show?
These things, what suffering, nobody's suffering. Suffering, everyone is immortal. And third one? Has feeling of guilt. How these things can help you in your profession? So I will ask you in this way. How these things may help you in your profession.
Например, когда вы сказали everyone is immortal, представьте, скоро вы умрете, что вы хотели. Это, например, помогает выявить ценности, вы сказали, человека, и вы это поможете определить ценности вашего пациента. Можно задать похожий вопрос. На что он ориентирован, исходя из ценностей, наверное, вот его и действия строятся.
It's not necessary to do it with patients. You have to be careful. I will tell you the funny story. Yes. So think how it may help you in your profession. Because I'm telling you this theories not because I have to tell these theories. They're really important, and why I decided to make the accent on this part of theories of personality or understanding of human beings, because usually there is no, how to say, there is no much attention to this part. There are kind of many things about humanistic approach, but these things are not so popular. So that is why I'm trying to tell you about this, especially I suppose here. Maybe in Russian-speaking countries it's more popular than here, but this existential approach not so popular at the whole world. The most popular is psychoanalysis, of course. Existential is not so kind of popular. How it may help you?
It will help us to deal with anxiety.
Yes, with anxiety, that's true, because he was working with neurosis. He was describing logotherapy the most kind of efficient method for working with noogenic neurosis. Do you know this term, noogenic neurosis? Have you heard it? So noogenic, that means this is actually his term also, yeah. And he invented this term when he was telling, I live in such time, when people are suffering from many existential crises. Yeah, we remember, that he was in concentration camp. Of course, it's World War. After, it's kind of time when we had a lot of kind of virtual reality and technique came into our world, and the people, for example, comparing to previous ages, they kind of become more suffering from what we have, so most of them suffer from meaning of life. That's literally true. So he had many patients who was coming to him and, for example, telling, I really don't have any meaning for living, the reason for living, what for should I live? Okay, I have the salary, I don't know, I have a job, I have what else, family, for example, but what, okay, so understand the other things. So, and noogenic neurosis, it's they are connected with this existential crisis. So this is exactly where this logotherapy is working, where I have to find a meaning. So he was helping to a person find a meaning for living. So it's not necessary to find a meaning for living in concentration camp. Of course, this situation is very kind of, how to say, extremely, extremely, I don't know, I can't find the word, so it's like extremely dangerous, yes. But in normal life, we also can live without any meaning. So what for example, to study psychology if you don't see meaning? Why do you study psychology, actually? Why do you study psychology? What for? Have you think about this?
Of course.
I'm not sure that, of course. If you did think, I'm not sure that other people were thinking. It's not necessary if someone told you about this that you can anyway think about this. But if you to answer right now, kind of, what for do you study psychology? Do you understand already? Did you find this meaning? What for you choose this profession? You have to be honest. It's not necessarily just, I will be a good practitioner and I will be a great psychotherapist. No, some of you can tell my parents just kind of put me to this university because they need a diploma of this university and it's okay for me. I'm not going to be a psychologist. Understand? And it's also answer. So, and if, for example, you find any meaning for this situation, it will be more meaningful. I don't know how to explain. Yes, understand? So I continue. Yeah, another thing that he also kind of add in his understanding of human being. He also was telling many things about responsibility. So that we have this responsibility, and I am who I am because I always can make some choices. So I'm free in these choices. In that sense, he was opposed to Freud, yeah? Because remember, in psychoanalysis, the nature of humans determined by instincts, yeah? In that sense, Frankl says, no, we are free, yeah, because we can choose. So I am who I am because I can choose, and I'm responsible for my choice. I have this responsibility. Do you understand what that the word responsibility means? How do you understand this word? Responsible. What are you feel? Do you, yes. Yes, you have to be responsible. Yeah, on your choices, on many things, you have to be responsible for your life also. Why maybe it's kind of a little bit, can be a little bit difficult for you to understand these things now, because you are at the age where, anyway, your parents taking care about you, yeah? Am I right? Any one of you live separately from parents? Okay, so in that sense you can feel yourself calm. So they partly responsible for the place you live. So you don't earn money, yeah, for your own money. They pay for education, yes? So in that sense, I mean, it doesn't mean that you are not responsible at all. You're responsible anyway, that you sit here, yeah, you're responsible on your answers, you are responsible on the choices that you made, that, for example, some choices you've made today, they brought you here. People who are not here, they also made some choices, yeah, but they have to be responsible for their choices, understand, yeah? But in that sense, you are in the age where you kind of, how to say, not, so you're partly covered, yeah, with your parents. I don't know how to tell these things. I don't say that it is good or bad, but I'm just telling that you have to understand psychology and people's personality or humans' nature, so not everyone like you. Yeah, so not everyone like you, and people are really different. And also Frankl was telling that all of us, we are unique. We have our own unique human being. So that's a main idea of this existential approach, of this logotherapy approach. I live my life, I exist. Understand? And my life have to be, exist means to be. So that means I'm really here, I really live. I am who I am. Understand that sense? And if I, for example, doing what I don't like, yeah, or if it's not my choice, I'm forced by something, and for example, I don't know, I'm suffering from, I don't know, economical crisis or political situation in this country, and in that sense, it can be a cause of my neurosis, so I can have some troubles, yeah, and Frankl was working with such people. Understand, yeah, this idea. So it's difficult, yeah, for you. It's for understanding, yeah. Huh?
Мне кажется, каждый из нас проходил через экзистенциальный кризис, и как раз это нам сейчас нужно применить в жизни.
So you mean, yes, that's true. It doesn't mean that if you have. You are in this age that you didn't suffer. Of course you suffered. All of us, we remember, yeah, this things we have to keep in mind. No one is spared to suffering, of course. Yeah, and if you remember this crises that we were discussing on the lesson where we were talking about Erickson, you also remember, yeah, all these things, all this crisis and all the suffering that we have. Yeah, and that's a scene. He invented this method of logotherapy, and this method has specific techniques. So do you want me to tell you about these techniques? Is it clear for you about the understanding of personality by Frankl? Did you get it, how he was understanding the human being? Did you feel the difference with psychoanalytic approach? Yeah. So it's a little bit different, yeah, dimension. And in that sense, he was trying to put accent on another things, not only on determination, but on other things, other sides. Yeah, it's like I can make my own choices, and I'm responsible for my choices. You know what? The language, by the it's really beauty of language. Sorry, it's not like the language, but it depends actually on what language I speak. But in that sense, the word responsibility it's the same as in Russian and in English. So if to kind of find the sense and if to understand the idea and meaning of the word responsibility, that means response. I have to respond on my actions. I have to respond, understand, on my choices. I'm responsible for who I am because I am who I am. Because I did myself like that. If I kind of suffer, yeah, I made this choice to suffer. Understand? And that's the idea of logotherapy, because they try to kind of show a person a different point of view, and not only to be concentrated on the suffering. For example, I think I gave you this example, that famous example when one of the patients came to Dr. Frankl. He was a doctor, and he was complaining that his wife died 2 years ago. Did I tell you this? Okay, this is really famous case, and some people kind of consider this case as the most known. It's very short kind of psychotherapeutic procedure. It has only one session. And if you guess what Frankl asked in this session, maybe you will understand the sense of this logotherapy. Okay, I will tell you the story. So this doctor, he came to Viktor Frankl for help. He was telling, okay, I'm suffering, I'm really suffering. He was old, and I don't remember how old was he, but maybe 60 something. And when he was coming to Dr. Frankl, he was telling, I am doctor myself, so please don't prescribe me any medicine. I can do it myself. He was general practitioner, yeah, he's just a therapist. And he was telling, yes, and I'm so suffering of this kind of loss in my life. Yeah, my wife died 2 years ago, and I can't do anything with this suffering. So I've been visiting many specialists. They didn't help me. Yeah, and please help me, but don't prescribe me medicine. And Dr. Frankl asked him only one question. He was asking, how do you think? He was asking, how do you think? If your wife, if you were the first one who died, your wife would suffering? He told yes. So then you kind of make free her in that sense. She's not suffering because she died first. This case is a really famous case, but you have to understand that only with this person and with the help of Dr. Frankl, and in this situation, he could ask such a question. It doesn't mean if someone will come to you and you kind of copy this question and can ask. You have to understand, because in this situation, that's true. Frankl kind of felt the things. He could ask this question, and the answer and the question actually put this person, this doctor, into the position. So he found the meaning for his suffering. He didn't want, of course, his wife was suffering like he did. Yeah, and he told, okay, thank you. This is kind of only one session, you see, only one meeting for psychotherapy. And I remember about this example, you know this professor named Vasiliuk. He died actually. He was famous lecturer, professor. He was representative of also existential approach. You don't know, yeah? He was describing the stage of grief. So he's famous. You can find some video lectures on YouTube because he gives really good lectures. And in one of these lectures, he was telling about this example. He was telling exactly this example to his students, and his students they have to go to some place for practice. You know, the research procedure, practica. And one of his students, he went to some, I don't know, medical center or something to to have kind of practice there. And he had a client who came to him, and he was suffering from the thing that his wife died. So the story was the same. And the student, when he have heard these things, because he was still student, of course you don't have this experience and you don't understand how it works, and it's easy for you to kind of understand the procedure of psychotherapy with some techniques or with the words you should use. Yeah, it's easier, so you have to have these instructions. And because in his mind he kept this example, he was saying, oh, this is exactly what I asked this person. Okay. So you understand, yeah, this idea what he asked. So he asked the same thing. That person was complaining to him on the death of his wife, and he was asking him, okay, what would you do? Or how, not what would you do, what she would do, or how she would feel if you died first. And you can predict the result. Exactly in this example, we can see how he helped this doctor to find a meaning for suffering. Understand? Okay.
Вопрос получается, действительно то, что возможно найти лишь смысл в своем страдании, и тогда действительно полностью исчерпывается?
Yes. So this is a thing that he made in a concentration camp. He survived. He found the meaning for his living in this concentration camp. He was helping people. Yeah, he was doing something. He was thinking that if I live, yeah, I will do many things. I don't know, for human being. I just give you example. But yes.
Близкого человека. Одно из важнейшего, главного, решение может быть найти оправдание страданию или смерти человека. Это может помочь? Хотя потому что когда я сравниваю человека, мне кажется, не всегда дело в значении смерти.
No, it's not necessary to make a target the death. You have to make a target on me as a person, on me. I have to find my own meaning, but it doesn't matter, or it will be in death or it will be in life. So it's better to find a meaning for life, of course. What for this person already died, so this is death, but I am alive. I'm in this place, yeah, so what for do I live? If I find these things, what for do I live? If I find the meaning for myself, then okay, I will be suffering, okay, but it will be a meaning for this suffering. Understand? Yes? Logotherapy is the most, in that sense, for me, I don't know how to say, it's most structured, well structured, because other existential approaches and understanding of human beings, they are really philosophical. As for example, we could see in this video when Dr. Langley was describing this basement of existential philosophy. Of course, here we also can see these things. It's philosophical anyway, but it's also kind of very practical in that sense. Yeah. Okay, I asked you about logotherapy. Do I have to tell you about how this method is working? Okay, then you understand actually part of this, how to say, part of this idea, yeah, to find a meaning. So it's like a really wide, sense to find a meaning. But this logotherapy, Viktor Frankl, he told himself that it's not for everyone, because logotherapy doesn't work with people who suffer from psychosis. You have to understand. So it won't work if you have hallucinations, and I will kind of hide and we'll try to find a meaning for your. I mean, it may help, but anyway, as Viktor Frankl told, this is really a good method for neurogenic neurosis. And we have to understand that there are no bad or good methods, and there are no bad or good theory of personality or understanding of human being. Yeah, it's not a question good or bad, right or wrong. It's what you believe and how you feel and how you see, yeah, and understand another person and yourself and the world. And in that sense, in therapy, it will work all together, all those things. Yeah. In that sense, logotherapy, it's also the method that's not suitable for any person, and not any person can be a logotherapist. You understand that if, for example, we study all these methods and you decide that you can be a logotherapist, it's not necessary that it's suitable for you. So maybe not, because it's really, everything is kind of individual here, yeah. And Viktor Frankl, in his personality, actually, he was very charismatic, yeah, in that sense. If you saw this Alfred Langley, he is direct pupil, but he's completely opposite than Viktor Frankl. I just tell you, please, if you have this chance, look on YouTube video of Viktor Frankl. There are many videos. So he is a little bit different type of personality. It's like he's more charismatic, more, I don't know how to say, more expressive, or logotherapy, it's not for everyone. So because he was the one who invented this method, of course, it's really kind of was working really great in his hands. Yeah, let's call it like that. Okay, so one of the things is find meaning. You understand, yeah, the things. It has a special kind of procedure, not procedure actually, it has techniques. So in existential approach, usually they don't use technique in existential therapy, but in logotherapy there are techniques.